My ex-wife came back into the picture after 12 years, demanding full custody of our children. After being denied by a judge, she kidnapped them. My ex-wife and I had twin girls together when we were both very young. I'll call them Casey and Lacey for clarification. We got married and divorced within the same year she gave birth. The pregnancy hit her hard, and after we divorced she just up and disappeared, leaving me alone with two newborn babies. I did my best, and thankfully got a lot of support from my parents while I struggled to go to college to get an education and care for the girls. It has been over 12 years of dirty diapers, tantrums, and sweet memories. The best 12 years of my life. Then one day there was a knock at the door, and when I opened it, I saw my ex who just let herself in. I was so grateful the girls were at a sleepover at the time, as I didn't even know how to handle the situation without them being there. She gave barely even a hello before she critiqued about how messy my house is, and asked where the girls were. I told her to get out as she wasn't welcome here. She told me I wasn't being very nice and she deserved more respect than I was giving her. I asked what she wanted and she told me she was ready to be a mom again, and was here to take the girls home with her. I laughed in her face. She got upset and said as their mother she had every right to visit them. I said she needed to leave, and if I felt it was right I might talk to the girls about meeting her, but that was the best I could do right now. She went to complain, but I just kicked her out. When my girls got home, I sat them down and explained that their mother had come back and wanted to meet with them. I thought this was the right thing to do. Both of them seemed eager, so I set a day for us all to go out for ice cream. The whole time my ex kept telling them stories about her travels, how she had gone to a bunch of different countries to see the world. One of my girls, Lacey, looked excited and couldn't keep her eyes off of her mother, while Casey sort of drew into herself. When we got home I asked how they felt and Lacey asked when she could see her mom again, and I said soon, maybe. Casey didn't look so eager, and when my ex called to schedule a day with just her and the girls, she said she didn't want to go. I didn't force her or anything, but my ex was upset and accused me of manipulating her. I said ultimately it was their decision to have a relationship with her or not. When Lacey got home, she had so many bags she could barely walk. Apparently her mom took her shopping and let her buy literally anything she wanted. I was a little cautious of it, but didn't think it would be a problem, until I heard Lacey yelling and walked in to see Casey in tears. Apparently Casey went to play with one of the Lego sets Lacey had gotten from the mall, and Lacey screamed at her that they were hers and hers alone. That if she wanted expensive nice toys, she shouldn't have ignored mom, and now she wasn't the favorite. I told Lacey that wasn't okay to say. Lacey then turned and yelled at me, asking why I was such a bad dad for keeping their mother from them for so long, that she could have had her this entire time, but because of me she didn't. I told her that it had nothing to do with me, that their mom wasn't here. She just wanted the best life for them, so I took care of them while she went to get herself better. Lacey called me a liar and said her mom had told her that I kept them away from her for years. I told her that wasn't true, but she didn't believe me. I was getting frustrated at this point, as I didn't want my daughter to think they had been abandoned, but now my ex seemed to be lying to the girls. That's when Lacey cursed me out and I just froze. I never cursed in front of the girls before, and while they know the words, they aren't allowed to be used unless absolutely necessary. I told her she wasn't allowed to say that word, and she told me that mom said it all the time. That was the last straw for me. I took everything her mom had bought for her away and said she might get them back if she learns to respect me and share with her sister. I called my ex up and asked why the hell she lied and taught my daughter that it was okay to curse. She is 12 years old. She told me it was fine and she was old enough. I told her that I believed this was only going to go in a bad direction if it kept up, so if she wanted to see the kids, she would have to get a court order now. I have been a single father for 12 years, with no messages from her whatsoever in any of those years. Any judge would side with me. She said that she was going to file for full custody anyway, and I better start packing their things now to make the moving process easier. I hung up on her and called my lawyer. He told me it would be okay, and asked if I could send him some basic information, but to just wait until I heard something, as she may not even go through with the threat. Turns out, he was wrong. My ex filed for custody soon after that. It was a mess with Lacey, as I told her she wasn't allowed to see her mom for a while, and we have been distant ever since. When I got to court for the first time was when I met her husband. I didn't even know she was married. She gave a whole speech to the judge about how she was in a bad place mentally when she first got pregnant, so she entrusted the girls to me, and lately she has gotten her act together, gotten married, and makes almost 3 times as much as me. Plus her husband was well off too. She put on a whole show about her showing up to respectfully ask to see the kids, and I supposedly denied her, only for her to see inside my house a disaster zone. So now she felt she had to take on full custody to save them from me. Thankfully, before court, a caseworker was sent to investigate my home and they had reported it was clean and spacious. My lawyer told the judge straight up that she abandoned the kids and me for 12 long years, only to come back and threaten for custody with no warning. And within only 3 visits she managed to manipulate one of the daughters into hating me. The judge said there was no proof she manipulated my daughter, but agreed that the time frame was ridiculous. He asked if we could settle this out of court, with allowed visitations, and I said no, as I didn't trust her with my kids at all. The judge ruled that I would remain with full custody and my ex was allowed visitation rights, within my home and only when I am home, and at my discretion. That if there was no agreement between us in 3 months, and either of us wanted to come back in and fight again, then we should do it then, no sooner. She seemingly calmed down for a while, and I allowed her to come over every other week. Lacey even apologized for snapping at me. Then one day I went to pick up my kids from school, only to be told that someone else had already come and gotten them. I started freaking out and went to the front office and asked who the hell picked them up, as only me and my parents have permission. They said that about a month ago their mother came in and added herself to the emergency contact and pickup list. I asked who gave them permission to add her, and they said she showed a birth certificate and ID as proof she was their mom, so they didn't see a problem. I was furious. I tried to call my ex and daughters over and over again, only for it to go to voicemail each time. I didn't know where my ex lived or where she would take them. So I called the police and made a missing child report. They put out a bolo for her, and within a few hours apparently a patrol car recognized her license plate and pulled her over. She was about to cross state lines when they finally found them. When I got to the station they took them too. I was crying happy tears when I saw my girls. I just hugged them. They asked what was going on and I told them that their mom shouldn't have taken them away. Casey told me she picked them up early from school to take them skiing. The police officer who pulled them over confirmed there were packed bags and a set of skis in the back. I asked where my ex was and they said she was in holding. They asked if I wanted to press charges and I said absolutely. I planned to take her to court and make sure she could never touch my kids again. She kept claiming that I gave her permission, but had no proof to back it up. But now a bunch of my friends and family are asking why I'm being so harsh. They believe she was just a mother trying to take her kids on vacation. No one seems to understand that they were kidnapped. My parents are torn, as my dad thinks I should get a restraining order, while my mom thinks I should let it go and give her more time with the kids so she won't feel the need to take them away. I feel like I'm going crazy and everyone is turning against me. Even my daughters are upset with me since I told them I didn't think they would be seeing their mom ever again. I understand she didn't do anything actually bad to them, but I see it as a kidnapping. Am I in the wrong here?